Attention Film School students, here are a few announcements. Item 1, I got a nerd question for you. Item 2, who's quicker, Superman or the Flash? Item 3, wrong. It's the Film School Janitors with this review. Oh, and item 4, if anyone can find the Film School Janitors on their lunch break, tell them it's time to review The Flash. We got to see a sneak preview.
Here's a little story about a trio of janitors. Might have heard they worked at a well-known film school. They picked up a few things other than trash. They might hate your movie or if drunk think it's cool. Every now and then they get together for a lunch break. Trash talks a movie or TV or streaming. Rodney and Jason and Sean, they'll clean house. If you listen close, you can hear kids screaming.
All right, so this is going to be a first. Not the first time just me and Rodney doing a podcast, because it seems to be lately more of a thing. But we got the chance to see The Flash as a sneak preview. So we are going to talk about, we'll make sure we talk around spoilers first. And just general thoughts.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Like things
I'll
you've
try
seen.
that.
I'll say this much.
Okay.
A lot of the cool shit is in the fucking previews.
Yes, it is. Yeah, that's true.
So it's
too,
like
yeah.
anything that would have been exciting, because a couple times people clapped, and it's like, dude, that was in the fucking preview.
Yeah.
But what's the basic story?
Well, I want to thank Rob if he ever listens to our shit, which he doesn't.
You. Rob from Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Keeping Up with the Kardashians called us, reached out to us kind of at the last second today, and I called Sean when he was leaving work. I was like, "Where you at?" He goes, "On 10 Mile in Haggerty."
I was just in the middle of cleaning the toilets.
I go,
done,
"Can you make it here by 6?" He goes, "I'll try and pick up." As I'm staying in line, I'm picturing you cutting through in and out of traffic and everything to get there.
Train. There was a train that was in the way that was not moving, and I went, fuck this. And
so we got to see this about a week and a half early.
Yeah,
it's really nice.
Yeah, really,
exactly.
10 days.
10 days early, which is really, really cool. So, yeah.
So basic storyline. Did you know that was going to be the story? What happened in the movie?
So I'm a little disappointed about some things, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
And I'm happy about some things. So I knew Flash, not Paradox, but Flash.
Flashpoint.
Flashpoint. I knew this was a storyline for a long, long time. So I was wondering, we talked about some things being the same and things being different before it started. I'm like, oh, that's the same. I thought the other thing was going to be the same, and it wasn't. They could have went with it, and they fucking didn't. I'm a little upset about that.
Because I kept thinking they were talking around, and I go, oh, they're going to actually do it.
And then when he goes up and touches the picture.
Right.
And I was like,
because they never specified, right?
And they could have went with it, and they didn't, and I was a little upset about that. We'll talk about that. It's very vague. Sorry about the very vagueness. But I knew it was Flashpoint Paradox. The biggest thing about Flashpoint is Aquaman and Wonder Woman go against each other, land versus the sea, and they're the ones pretty much that whips the world apart, because there's no Zod storyline in the comic books.
Oh, okay.
So it's Wonder Woman versus Aquaman, and they're the ones that kind of end the world.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's what he goes back, saves his mom, which isn't a spoiler if you know anything about the Flash.
Yeah, this has been done in the TV show,
everything,
cartoon 1,000 times.
When he goes back and does that, it becomes something happens with Superman and the Flashpoint storyline.
Yeah, so explain the comic book first.
Okay, so
because then this won't be spoiled.
So Barry goes back, Run Barry Run. I love the fact that they said that, but he said it was a little boy. Run Barry Run at the beginning. I'm like, yes, that's something they say in the show all the time and everything. So, Flashpoint, he goes in past to try to save his mom. It's really different.
This is a Jeff Johns wrote this story.
Jeff Johns, yeah.
Dearborn's Own.
Yeah, Dearborn's Own. Yeah, I got a signature on a bunch of stuff and everything. But the person that kills Barry's mom in the comic books is his alter ego. No, it's his alter ego, the Yellow Flash. Reverse Flash. Reverse Flash.
Yes. Okay, so I saw this as a cartoon.
Yes.
And I knew nothing. I saw it at Comic-Con.
Cartoon's good. Flashpoint cartoon's very good.
This is my first introduction to anything DC, because this is, I think, before the TV shows were even starting.
Okay.
Maybe just Arrow was going on. There was no Flash TV show. And one of the friends I went with to Comic-Con in San Diego, they were doing the preview for the for the special, and it was like, oh, you get to watch the whole thing here. And I'm like, all right, I'll go with you. I'll watch it. It's a cartoon. It's comic books. I'll like it. And at the start, you're like, Captain Cold.
Oh,
Boomerang.
You don't like his rogue gallery?
Oh, his rogue gallery, like some twister tornado guy.
People hate Flash's rogue gallery.
What the fuck corniness is this?
His rogue gallery.
Then he was like on the cosmic treadmill or whatever, and I'm like, and then he's like losing his powers and getting his powers going on the treadmill. I'm like, what the fuck? And then Reverse Flash. Yes, I was like, what?
So Flash is a lot.
I was like, this is cheesy as shit.
Flash is a lot like Spider-Man, where a lot of his villains and everybody around him has Flash powers. Mm-hmm. It's so funny saying that now because these two movies dropped. They're both about multiverses.
Yeah, so we just saw Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Across the Spider-Verse.
A lot of overlap. And the same week we've seen this.
Yes, it's a lot of... and
within days.
It's funny because Flash has a lot of villains and a lot of heroes and a lot of family members around him that all have Flash abilities. Because what do they call that now? It's the Flashverse or the Flash... How do they get their power now? They get their power
Speed Force.
Speed Force now, right? Yeah. So then you get Spider-Man, and they all get their power from whatever.
They actually have. I mean, for the major for the core 616 universe, and Spider-Man, at least they do variations on how they get their. A fair amount of them, like.
But there's like a Spire deity, right?
Well, that's when they started the totems of that later.
Yeah.
Which is sort of a speed god, whatever his name is.
Yeah, exactly. So we kind of watch almost the same little. This is DC and Marvel doing it to each other again, and the same freaking within the next week. DC did this shit on purpose, right? Within 2 weeks of it, let it do its thing. So anyway, so that happens, and Wonder Woman ends up running the land. Aquaman runs the sea. They fight and beef against each other. Ends up destroying everything.
This is while he's in the past. This is after he saved his mom and comes back. Future.
And then what happens from that point is a Flashpoint. There's some changes that happen.
He goes and fixes it, then the New 52 starts. Right?
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what they kind of like their rehash thing they did. Yes, and there's some things that change with Bruce Wayne and Batman. I guess I can say that because it's not nothing to do with the movie.
Right.
So Bruce Wayne and Bruce Wayne dies. The mom becomes Joker.
Oh, that's a cool idea.
And Thomas Wayne becomes Batman.
That's a cool idea.
So that's what happens. And they could have. We'll talk about it, but. And that's what happens with
in this film, we basically are picking up with the Justice League. And honestly, we haven't talked Shazam 2 yet, but Shazam 2 was like, this is a story. This is a character-based kind of adventure that Marvel isn't doing right now. Because they kind of got their heads up their ass trying to do bigger aspirations. Yeah. They got to top themselves. And then they're doing very scattershot shit. There's no cohesiveness. I think until next year when we start getting into Thunderbolts and
it feels like
new Captain America, which they just changed the name
over the last 2 or 3 years. It feels like 20 different stories, and just because you drop somebody in there doesn't mean it all ties together.
Right.
Yeah.
So watching the beginning of this, and you're seeing Flash get called to go to Gotham. Who was the third person that Alfred said he called? I couldn't understand who he said.
What he called?
Was it Diana? Maybe he said Diana.
Oh, Diana. He called. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like. There's somebody steals something. Batman's chasing him. Oh, why don't you call Superman? Well, Superman's doing something with a volcano. We tried Diana, couldn't get a hold of her, so now Flash has to go run all the way from Central City to Gotham. And the baby scene, like the opening stuff was, the animation is not great.
Are we talking about spoilers now?
No. I just want to kind of get to where
it looks cartoony.
There was no real impetus to his. I needed to go save my mom. I felt no.
Oh, the way they kind of jumped right to it.
He's just like, hey, you know what? I can do this.
Because they had him crying in that memory, and then he turns around and starts running. I think they should. They were doing the little memories about him missing his mom.
Because what's weird too is this movie is supposing that people watched the Zack Snyder cut on HBO Max, which we liked a lot.
Yeah.
But the last time we've seen Barry. We didn't see Iris West. We didn't really know his whole story from that Joss Whedon movie.
Right.
And now we're jumping to this movie. It's very, very strange that they just...
It's right. And it seems like he almost, when he turns around and runs because he's crying because he misses his mom, that I know, like you said, it seems like it's out of nowhere. I know it's not out of nowhere because he's had those feelings forever and they're building up in the movie. But they kind of moved to that really fast. There's really no build up to
and even him learning to time travel wasn't really done in the Joss Whedon one.
Maybe he's thinking, well, I guess too.
A little bit, but it was like, remember in the Zack Snyder, he legit is outrunning time to go into the past.
Well, maybe he thinks too, if he saves his mom, he saves his dad, because he watched that video and he realized he couldn't save his dad.
Oh, that's what it was, right.
And he went there and did that.
The court case, you're right.
So he's like, I'm going to do both.
His Bruce Wayne is deep.
So we talk about Flashpoint. That gives you a good incidence. I'm not talking about the movie now. We're going to talk about the movie now.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
We're going to talk spoilers, because it's hard to talk about it too much.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So the dad is in prison for murdering his mom, and he's got Bruce Wayne finally like decoded some old video, which didn't look like it was that badly decoded anyway.
I don't know why it looked that bad to begin with.
Right, and you couldn't see the dad was in the store to
Did
prove
somebody
his
touch
alibi.
the tape? Is that what happens when you actually touch the tape?
And his dad never looks up in the tape, so like that's why he's going to be stuck in jail.
You got to explain. I think I figured out why the tomato was from the bottom to the top because they're different universes, right?
No, he moved it all. When he put it back, we'll get to that.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
So the dad never looks up when he's at the grocery store, so it kind of doesn't prove his alibi, and he's in jail. Yep, he's in jail now, and that's what makes him sad. He's like, I think I can go do this, and Bruce is like, you can't go do this, but he does it anyway. What is that Coliseum called? It's a weird the way they depict him in the Speed Force. The Coliseum of Time, he called it. I forgot what
they called it, yeah. And he called the little bubble thing.
It was so goofy.
It doesn't, so in the comic books, he just runs and he can see the... Do you know how, what you call it, did it, that we were watching a couple nights ago? That we
Spider-Verse with the spot.
Spider-Verse, how you can see the different...
The spots just looking in the black hole.
So in the TV show, Flash, his TV show, he can see in different timelines and he can go to them. There's no middle thing like this is going... So I kind of like the way the TV show did it, because TV show did it actually closer to where I remember the comic book doing.
Oh, so the comic book didn't do this Coliseum of Time.
Not that I know of.
Or
not that I remember.
Carousel of Time or whatever.
Not that I remember. It did it very...
Because it's almost done like a Zoe... Like he's in kind of a Coliseum, but it's like a Zoetrope of images of things that he's gone... And he just kind of looks for that part in time.
Yeah, it's... Dude, even they had real images of real people from the movie.
Yeah, that was so weird.
And they still computerized them.
I know.
You had the same scene just a few minutes earlier... And you still chose to make that computerized.
Yeah, so I don't know if they just did it after the fact and wanted to, like, they might have did a lot of post.
So we're talking about the movie now. The baby scene.
The CGI, yeah. So this baby, the Gotham Hospital is collapsing.
Yes.
And the only people in that entire section is a floor full of babies, which I did like the concept of it. Because he's running out of energy and has to eat. And he's going around. You can only move living beings so much in the Speed Force. So he's like kind of lining the babies up, throwing things. Like, one's about to get hit by acid, one's about to get hit by blades, one's about to get hit by fire. Right. So he's, like, throwing one baby in a microwave when it's about to be hit by fire, throws a bedpan to stop the... Like, it's kind of fun, all that stuff. And I went, okay, this is what the tone is. This is the enjoyment we're supposed to get out of it.
It still gives me that feeling, that X-Men feeling.
Yes.
Time in a bottle.
It was a little bit, it was in that style, but a little bit different enough to make it kind of its own thing. But it's
Time in a Bottle was done better.
I think, X-Men crushed it. Because even remember when...
Time in a Bottle was definitely done better.
Oh, it's way better. Both of those movies did it way better for
Even
them.
the CGI back then looked better for that scene.
Yes.
So how much they spent on it? It's $200 million on this movie, right? That's why they choose to drop. That's why they chose not to drop it.
Yeah, they
right?
knew they had to.
It was like 280, 200. I don't know how much millions.
200 to 220 million.
That's why they didn't want to drop it. And I'm like, well, they spent 220, and they didn't fucking.
Yeah, this director did. It's Andy Muschietti, and he did. Trying to see what his big. Oh, Mama, which is a horror movie.
Okay.
And then It Chapter 2. So really, this is his first big comic book movie. So he goes into this Coliseum of Time, goes back into the past. Mm-hmm. His plan is the dad went to the grocery store to get a can of tomato paste or tomatoes, and that's why he was like, oh, if my mom bought 2 cans or bought a can, he wouldn't have to go, and he'd be there to stop the attacker. So he goes, uses a Speed Force to grab a can because he didn't want to do too big of a interference, and he puts it in the cart, and then he comes back, and as he's about to go back to his time, some big kind of blue behemoth reverse flash, zoom, whatever you want to call him, some kind of extra dimensional being in the Speed Force knocks him into his own past, by 4 years?
Yeah, missed it.
Missed
it by that much.
The day of his getting his powers, which he just randomly figures out. And it's fun.
September 29th.
And it looks like, honestly, the matching of the two of them, so you got 2 Ezra Millers in there, I thought that stuff looked pretty seamless.
I was really hoping, I swear to God, I knew there was going to be 2 Flashes or 3 Flashes in this movie. I was really, really hoping the Flash TV show guy was going to be in this movie.
I know.
And they didn't let him in it. That kind of hurt my heart a little bit. So.
The things, did it bother you when he's talking about drugging the other version of him?
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh, should they have left this in? Because there's like weird shit that Ezra Miller, like, he has been problematic, or they, I think he goes.
Yeah, he goes by they. They go by they. Yes.
Ezra Miller has been problematic, and the studio was like, this movie's like testing well. Like we got to kind of. We're kind of like Marvel's in a similar boat, I think, with Jonathan Majors. Like, what's going to happen with him? And it's just like, I mean, business is business, I suppose, at some level. But
it's not just
and
about
Ezra Miller's fantastic in this
and
role.
the movie's not about Ezra Miller. It's about the people behind the production. It's about the people that put in the time for this. It's about the CGI people. You know, they should be fired after this. It should be, but it's about the hundreds and hundreds of other people that are about this production that this movie gave jobs to.
Right.
And so that's I went to see this movie. I go, that's what this. I have to think about it that way. Not this doofhead with 6 or 8 felony charges against him.
Right.
Hope he fixes his life. I hope they fix their life and they get the proper care that they need, so they never do that to another person or other things again.
Right, because they're strange things. So it's
weird breaking into people's houses, eating food, and it's
grooming, trying to kidnap
a young
and start
girl.
a cult.
So, but we all allegedly.
Allegedly.
Don't sue us. We don't have any money. Trust me. It's not a job.
Right.
But I just hope they get all the help that they need, and
which is also brought up. The line happened in the movie.
Yes, it did. Yes, it
they
did.
go, Justice League isn't really good with the mental health stuff. And you turn to me, you're like, oh yeah, not just
I was like,
Justice League.
Did they do that on purpose? What's going on with that? So, but I thought they were. Well, he goes as a he in the movie, so I'm gonna go he.
Yeah, yes.
He goes. He was great. And the acting was great in it.
Because you had the young version, the 4 years younger, and the version that didn't lose the mom, and he's matured, like you kind of said. Everybody complained about how goofy Barry Allen was in the first movie. And they're like, to him go, oh my God, I understand now why, people were so irritated by this manic kid.
No, that's good they addressed it.
So, but it was a good way to differentiate the two. And he kind of showed his growth.
He has ADHD, correct?
Well, he would be super fast.
But he's always in a rush, but he has because when he's in the thing ordering the sandwich, he's like, come on, I was waiting for my other lady because he's so used to being. And when the guy started talking to him, he really didn't have time for him to talk to him. It's a rush, but it felt totally like ADHD. He was like, oh, Flash's power is ADHD because everybody's moving super slow to him. Things aren't getting
done quicker. Well, that was the approach for Stan Lee with Quicksilver always, was that Quicksilver was an asshole because what do you hate waiting in line. You hate waiting for the elevator. And his whole life is waiting for everything.
That's what the one guy says. You don't want to wait for the perfect sandwich? He said, no, my girl usually has it done. I come in here. I fucking move on my fucking life.
So, but that's why Quicksilver's grumpy in the comics. They haven't really portrayed that well in the movies yet or any TV shows or anything. But anyway... so yeah, the whole scene with the two of them kind of bouncing each other off. So he sees that Zod's attacking Earth and he's like, oh, this is happening. I like the reference to him going back and trying to save people. And like he kind of could only save a kid and couldn't save the dad. And that kind of weighed on him. Like he couldn't do much because he wasn't trained yet enough.
Yes, and that's how he didn't have a bigger impact on the Zod shit that was going on. Yeah.
So I liked the whole bit with going to give him the powers.
He was there, but he couldn't do much at that time.
But so Earth 1 Barry Allen goes to Earth 2 Barry Allen and takes him to Research Institute, Star Labs, I suppose is kind of what it is, and does the phasing through the walls, which is funny. All the whole bit to get him to where, okay, this is where you need to sit. Lightning's gonna hit. Wait, I don't want to get hit by lightning. But Barry 1 ends up losing his powers, and Barry 2 gets the powers.
Right.
So then that you kind of mine a little bit of
Speed Force probably transfers to him kind of.
Right, because the lightning goes through. You get a little bit of the comedy with him running around in circles trying to build. I even like is that a pose thing that he does in the comics? Is that like the way he poses?
I guess you can find pictures of that. I don't remember too much. I'm sure there's some front. That's on some front covers of him doing that too.
But I do like that Barry 2 does the Speedy Gonzalez before he runs. He goes, I've done that before too. So there's good. Very good. I really, really like a lot of the beginning stuff, like up through those points. And then it gets to the point where like, oh, Zod's here. We got to find Superman. We got to find Aquaman. We got to find Wonder Woman. Find Batman. So he goes to Bruce Wayne first.
We realize this is a new universe. Some of these heroes are there. Some of these heroes aren't.
Yeah, Arthur Curry's never been born.
But he finds out there's a Bruce Wayne in this universe.
Yep.
Yes, so.
And then that's where we get to the part where we know Michael Keaton's already in it.
And I was mad he's not Thomas Wayne.
That would have been...
He was older. It was easy. It was
perfect.
easy making him Thomas Wayne. So the way they explained that he was older because the beginning ended up being different because of the end is different. And when you do something like that, it can change all the way back to the beginning of whatever. Does that mean you fucked 40 years earlier? I don't know what that means.
Time is a bowl of spaghetti.
Yeah.
Because now we're getting all these metaphors and things.
I let him talk. I'm like, you know what? This still doesn't explain why he's fucking 40 years older than everybody else.
And also, I like the couple little things where, Eric Stoltz is Back to the Future in this world.
Yes.
What? So then Michael J. Fox was in Footloose, and then what's his face? Kevin Bacon was in Top Gun. I liked that little spin of these are the small changes in the world. Then Bruce Wayne's gets a pretty good introduction. I liked the way he looked. I liked the way he kind of got back into it. They're using his computer in the Batcave to try to track down. He's like, Superman had to fall to Earth at some point. Maybe he's not Clark Kent, but we got to find something.
That's what I sat down with you at the beginning. I'm sorry.
Yep.
I sat down at the beginning. I go, I don't know if it's going to be like the Flashpoint thing, but Superman's locked up in this thing for a while, and he comes out really sickly and
he's out of the sun.
Because he's out of the sun for a long time. And go ahead, sorry.
And then that's when Barry 1 is working on the computer, and he looks at the camera and he goes, "I know you're watching me." And he goes, "Well, we need to do something stat here." And then that's when he wakes up and finds that Bruce gives a redacted statement showing, "Hey, this meteorite crash. He's in a this potential alien life form is in a Russian gulag." So they all suit up. Then he wants to get his powers back. No, that was afterward. So they all suit up, go to Siberia. It looks almost like the prison location from Fast X.
Yeah, yes it did.
Where it's this underground, snowy place. But they go in all the way in. And again, they're mining good humor, good action scenes with Batman's...
What he said, he put him in a giant scrotum, right?
Yes. I even like the way that Batman's technology is the 90s version of his technology. Like when he puts the bomb under the thing to blow it up and he pulls out the little tape measure to measure. I liked... This is probably more of a comedy than you might think, but maybe you should expect it because it is The Flash.
Because I think they already said that kind of comedy thing earlier. So there's things in this. Remember when Flash and Batman first met each other? He's trying to figure out if he's Flash or not?
Yes.
And he throws a boomerang at him? Mm-hmm. Well, this time he throws a pot at him, right? Mm-hmm. He turns sideways, catches the pot in the hand with the fight scene. I was like, they're reenacting him throwing the boomerang. Yep. So, yeah.
And they find Kara Zor-El.
Yes.
Supergirl.
Yes.
Which
she looks great. Dude, that suit.
I'm in love with that actress. She's beautiful.
Great. She looked great in that suit.
Sasha Cal.
Oh, she's Cal. She is Kryptonian.
Right. Yes, it's Scalle. Sasha Calle, maybe. I'm not sure.
No, they drag her out of there, get her to the rooftop. Sun hits her. She starts to heal.
She was awesome.
He said, He said, "You're solar powered."
Yeah. But yeah, she was great. That character was great. I liked her little moments of just trying to figure out, what's her place in the world. The outfit looked great on her, everything. Great on her. So good new character introduction.
They try to find out why what's his name's not there and she is there.
Right. So they
were both shot off the planet.
Well, that's we know the people that know comic book nerd shit is that technically she was sent. She is the older cousin of Kal-El. Mm-hmm. And so they're both sent out, and she's supposed to protect him, but she gets lost in some kind of negative zone area. He ends up on Earth by himself, and she usually comes later, and she's always younger. So in this world, the baby, we don't know what happened to the baby at this point. Right. So she's been trapped. She landed on Earth and was trapped in this alternate reality.
And she doesn't like humans because that's what humans did to her. They caught her, and yeah.
But she's she goes and sees Zod being ruthless. So then she comes back and she basically to Barry 1 who has no power. She's like, "Why did you help me?" And he's like, "You needed help." Yeah. And that's enough. They kind of rush that whole sequence of
tells her some humans are dick and some humans are nice.
Right.
Yeah.
So. But they rush through a lot of this kind of character development.
Yeah, it's a lot of character development rush. It felt like the same character development rushing that the original before all the mapping out, the extra half an hour that was put in.
Yeah.
What am I talking about?
The Justice
League. It felt like the same kind of rushing character.
Where it's just we just need to get this stuff done to get to here.
Yep.
And everything that was good up to that point. Now his mom's Latina?
Not in the comic. They're both. But this changed for the show because
is Ezra Miller?
I don't know. I don't know. Miller.
Let's see. Just
look at his face.
Jewish, Dutch, and German. Okay, so I don't know. It's weird.
Well, he can be the furthest from Hispanic.
Right.
I mean, he has those features, I guess, because that's what we do in America. You have a feature, we say you're one thing or another.
Right.
Yeah.
I just was curious about it because I thought it was an interesting choice. But yeah, so he, so Barry, Oh, so Supergirl's like, yeah, like they rushed all this development moments, kind of just to be, we got to get all these pieces in place. So we got our little half of our Justice Society to go fight Zod. Barry now needs to get his powers back, so he begs Batman to do it. Batman's like, all right, sure, whatever.
I
love the Bat Kite. Oh yeah,
him with the long hair, the beard.
He looked awesome. Honestly, I thought
I loved it.
Michael Keaton looked very good, and some of the things I've seen him, he seems a little like bloaty and older. He looked really good. Maybe it's just seeing him back in like the
you could
costumes
tell
and stuff.
he had some work done on his face before.
You think so?
Oh, I saw it on his lips.
Okay.
100% did. I've been around enough girls I've worked with or other things. I had no idea.
So some Botox type stuff.
Yeah, he must have did it right before filming.
But it was cool.
Whatever.
Like,
he's 90 years old. Fucking
it was cool.
It
was, and it looked like he had fun being back in there too.
He looked like he had. That's what I was gonna say. He looked like he had fun.
He had fun.
Fun.
Michael Shannon as Zod was just reading lines because I've seen interviews or I've read interviews with him where he said, "I didn't even know what I was doing in this movie, but I had to be in there." You know, like, and he's just like, because he's considered a great actor, and he was 100% just phoning it in because there was no skin in the game.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at Thomas Wayne. I thought he had a beard, but he's got a really rough looking beard. It's not like it's just a 3 o'clock shadow type thing.
Okay,
Yeah.
So then, Batman's helping Barry 1 get his powers back with all the chemicals and lighting. I love that he had a bat kite out there.
Yes,
because of course,
yeah.
all the '89 version of Batman,
Yeah.
everything's bat related.
Yeah, I thought I was going to see a giant penny in the back cave, but I didn't.
So yeah, and then he gets his powers back. So now the 4 of them decide, okay, we're gonna go to fight Zod. Of course, out in the desert, his Doom machine's blowing up Gotham, but we barely deal with that.
Yeah, that's right. They changed the one scene because the military is supposed to show up with Superman and give him the Zod. At least that's what happens in the Man of Steel.
Right.
But in this movie, they don't show up with Superman because there is no Superman.
Right.
And so they just start shooting down the fucking military and killing them all, and then the fight battle starts.
Yep. So a big portion of this movie takes place in this battle.
Yes, it does. This is
actually
a very big portion of the movie takes place.
And we're going to get to very, very big spoilers here. So again, if you're kind of been hanging with us, you can tune out here. But it gets to the point where, they're doing all the different variations of fighting Zod. Barry 2's getting more and more adept with his powers. And he ends up, Batman ends up dying trying to take out the ship.
Yes, yep.
And then Kara gets stabbed, and they change the whole thing. They go, basically, Kal-El was a baby, and they found him and killed him.
Right.
But now they need her blood, not his blood, because she actually has the genetic code to reprogram the planet or whatever.
Remember when in Man of Steel, who was his father's name?
Jor-El.
What's his actor?
Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe went down under the water where they were keeping all their information to rebuild the planet.
The
and
DNA stuff, yeah.
And put it inside of this, and then put it inside of Clark.
Right.
So instead of going to Clark, it went inside her.
Right.
And then he says, you know what? It wasn't in the infant. The infant is.
We had the infant. It wasn't it. So now we need you.
And that's why we find out why Clark never made it to the planet. Yes.
So it's kind of dark.
Yes. He killed the baby. He killed baby Clark.
But she's kind of getting the upper hand on him. But then he somehow stabs her, kills her.
This movie's all about killing babies, dude. What the fuck's up with this movie?
It is kind of. Yeah, it starts off with that. So there is a cool Funko of that. I kind of might want to get.
What is it?
It's Barry running and him with all the babies.
Okay.
It's a weird little
all right.
scene.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And a dog.
And a dog, a safety. Or
how about the audience?
Support dog.
Listen, there's babies falling out of a window, and the audience is quiet. The second they see the dog fall out of a window, I heard a few awls in the audience. Yes, I'm like, these motherfuckers. There's 9 babies falling into a death.
That's how it is.
But the dog falling, they get an awe. I was like, oh man. Sorry, go ahead.
So the she's kind of got the upper hand. They end up stabbing her. They end up killing her. And then that's when Barry 2's like, we can go back and fix this. He overheard. He didn't know originally that his mom had died, and that's why Barry came. But he overhears Batman and Barry 1 talking about it. Yeah. So Barry 2's like, I know what you did with Mom. Like, we can do this for them. So he starts going into the Coliseum of Time, which I'm going to call it Coliseum of Time.
Works.
He goes in the Coliseum of Time. He gets kind of like, I thought it was kind of cool when he had the shrapnel from the big killer guy.
Well, it's from the Kryptonian ship, so why can't it cut them? That makes sense. That made a lot of sense to me.
And so he's using it to start killing the Kryptonians, but they keep going back, and it's honest to God. Spoiler alert here
older
for
Barry
Spider-Verse.
looked at him when he killed the big guy with the thing, and that's when you start seeing change in his.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
And he's also doing the blue electricity where Barry's doing the yellow.
That's right.
And it made me again. Spoiler alert for Spider-Verse.
Yes.
Across the Spider-Verse, they introduced the concept of canon events.
Yes, yes.
And literally,
this movie does the same thing.
That's what he's kind of saying. There's these fate moments
that have to happen.
They had a different term for it, but
he called it fate.
It was just fate.
He said fate. He called it fate. Yes, he did.
So that's what Barry 1 starts realizing, like, oh no, this is going to happen. Your Earth is going to die.
No matter what we do, Batman's going to die. No matter what we do, Supergirl's going to die. No matter what we do, this is going to happen.
Because they keep replaying it like 2 or 3 times, and then Barry 2 is going more and more hyper and crazy and getting more and more shrapnel on him. And then you start to learn that he's the...
We looked at each other like, oh, that's what's all over the other guy.
Yeah. And it's the reverse zoom or reverse flash or the zoom or whatever you want to call it.
You're going from the TV show. Because the TV show had a big metal-y fast Flash that I thought was Flash from the future.
Yeah.
So I think it's the same enemy.
And he's been doing it for who knows how long, trying to fix it.
Because his metabolism is slow, so he can be really, really old. He looks old, so he can be 5, 10 times older. Yeah, he can be way, way older. Wolverine that shit.
Right, and that's what he says to Barry. He goes, that's why I knocked you into that point in time so I could be created.
Yeah.
But then the young Barry 2, so old Barry 2 is the monster.
Yes.
Young Barry 2 realizes, like, oh shit, Barry 1's right. So old Barry's about to kill Barry 1, and then Barry 2 steps in the way, and they both basically get destroyed.
Yes.
He finds a way back home. I mean, this is literally all the story is.
Yes.
So
it's not much in the story, is it?
There's not much, now that we're talking about it.
Yeah.
So he gets back to his Earth and finds out he's late for court. Oh, no.
We skipped over a lot of when they're fighting, all the Supermans they're showing.
Oh, yeah. In the Coliseum.
Sorry.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point. You should
I
bring don't
up.
These are again, more spoilers.
Why the fighting's
going on?
going
If you made it to this point, there's more spoilers about to come.
Why the fighting's going on, you get to see a lot of other universes.
Right, when you're seeing Barry 2 as he's slowly but surely becoming the big blue bad Barry 2.
Yeah. Big blue bad Barry 2. Meanest dog in the whole downtown.
You're seeing the incursions that are going to be happening in the Marvel universe for Battle World, but these different colored Earths, and they're zooming in on them, and they're seeing Christopher Reeve and Helen Slater.
Yeah, they show Christopher Reeve and Melton. Dude,
and it was cool seeing like they put both of them. It was smart.
Yeah, they didn't do the same movie together back in the day because Christopher Reeve was having issues back and forth, and he just liked some of the things they were going, so they did it anyway. And he didn't really nothing against the actress or anything.
No,
he just had issues with the studios and everything they were doing with everything. And I saw Christopher Reeve. That 1978 Superman, I've probably seen it 15, 20 times. I don't know if that's a lot or not, but I love that movie.
Have you seen Guardians of the Galaxy 1 more than that?
Oh, they might be close, but the 1978 Superman's been around a lot longer.
Right.
So I think I've seen that more, but I've actually went and re-seen Superman 1978 was back in the theaters a couple years ago, and I wasn't seeing it. So as Fandango was doing it.
Yeah.
And I was
when they do that. I like that they do that.
I was like, I was a baby. I didn't get a chance to see it, so now's my chance. So I went and seen it in theater.
I remember seeing that at the theater with my dad.
And
it was probably in a real re-release because I would have been 3.
Every superhero movie after that has tried to recreate it, even 50, 60, 80 years later. Even James Gunn, when he came out and spoke about his favorite movies of all time, he said the original Spider-Verse movie was his number 1 superhero movie of all time. And Superman, 1978.
Yep.
And everybody that loves superhero movies or directors or done something, they base that movie in their top 5.
It's
influence.
The
subtitle, You'll Believe a Man Can Fly, right?
Yep.
And it's, if you go back and you go, how do I make a superhero movie work? And you go, they did it in 1978. How can I not do it fucking now?
Right.
And it's been the base.
A positive.
A positive one. Yeah, well, we got Superman 3 and 4. We don't want to go down that route. Richard Pryor and everything. But it's the base of, if you want to go back and say, well, you can now look at Iron Man and do all that stuff. But it gave hope to all these future superhero movies that came out after. It's just, that movie means so much to everything superheroes.
I mean, it was a drought. Like, you had Superman 1, Superman 2, which we kind of talked about. I don't know if I got into that with Raiders of the Lost Ark podcast, that Superman 2, everybody's like, Raiders of the Lost Ark, nobody gives a shit about.
Yeah, you did say that.
Yeah, because Superman 2, everybody's so excited for that. But I mean, really, between Superman 2 and Batman in 89, that's a big drought back then.
Well, because...
And then 89, the drought continues until 2000.
Because Superman 78 was so damn good and Batman 89 was so damn good, they couldn't even get close to what they did again. And they tried to. Superman 2 tried to. But I want to tell you something, a little tip. You know the guy who plays Darth Vader and actually plays Darth Vader?
Yeah,
not the voice of Darth Vader.
David Prowse.
He was Christopher Reeve's trainer in the Superman movies.
Oh, okay.
So big, he trained, that's why Christopher Reeve's there to get built and everything. But seeing Christopher Reeve and her together
Helen
on
Slater,
screen
yeah.
was so fucking awesome.
So then they showed another planet that was
1962 Spider. You had
Adam West.
You had Adam West.
66.
And you said you had like a 1962 Superman or 58 Superman.
Oh yeah, the old black and white.
That's the first one they showed, I think.
Reeves. He was also a Reeves.
He was also Reeves.
George Reeves.
Yes, he also passed away with something bad.
He was like a weird thing, Hollywoodland, which we should probably do that one. That's a Ben Affleck movie.
Is it?
Where he plays George Reeves.
Where he plays George Reeves. Okay.
I'm going to make a note of that.
But
I don't know if it's good. What did I call it? Hollywoodland.
You got to see, like you said, Batman 1966. What's his
Adam
name?
West.
Adam West, rest in peace.
You hear his voice.
The mayor of
of Quahog.
Quahog, yeah. Quahog, yeah.
So,
but you got to see, he said something, he got his voice.
Something about Joker or whatever.
Yeah, I was like, that's awesome.
So then the big surprise is you see this giant spider. Now, this is, again, spoiler.
I saw a long-haired Superman. I thought it was doing the long-haired Superman from the comics that came back after his death.
Well, it was supposed to be the Tim Burton. That's what it was going to be.
But I didn't put the spider together as quick as you did. Like, I didn't.
I mean, I knew the cameo
Kevin
was
Smith
coming.
I did not know.
Yeah, a friend ruined that for me. He goes, "Oh, are you going to have to include this in your other podcast?"
Oh, fuck
And
that
I'm like,
friend. Who did that?
Yeah,
Damn it.
Jeff, I'm calling him
Damn
out.
you,
Jeff,
Jeff.
fuck you, Jeff. I was so mad. He goes,
because I was excited when I saw it.
Well,
I was like, Sean, Nick's Cage.
I know.
He goes, I know. You gave me a look. You're like, I know. I'm like, oh, somebody took that from him. Somebody took that from you. So.
Yeah, because he goes, "Oh, I thought you wouldn't care about DC stuff." I go, "It's the fucking new movie. Of
and
course I care
Nick
about."
Cage.
Yes. But the director actually spoiled that, and I kept avoiding the spoiler. They're like, "Can you believe he spoiled this big cameo?" And then, but yeah, so he's fighting the spider, which is the story that Kevin Smith always tells, which ended up in Wild Wild West because John Peters, the producer of Batman, watched some documentary and thought spiders would make interesting bad guys. But I was like, right away, I would say the spider kind of got close enough to me because I saw the hair and I went, oh, that's funny that he's doing this.
But they did the suit because the suit was a little wider around the shoulder.
Yep.
They did the exact same suit and everything.
Because it was supposed to light up and be weird too. Like, I really wish that movie. There's supposed to be a documentary about it, which I hope they still make.
Isn't it on Amazon?
I don't think it's been completed yet.
Okay, I thought it was already out there.
Yeah, Superman Lives, I believe it's
So they end up showing at least Superman. They actually go back and show you Nick Cage kind of floating there and flying, and you got some cheers from the crowd, and it was really awesome.
Did they show any other ones, or were those?
Well, they did show another Batman. We won't talk about that yet.
But in the worlds colliding, I don't think they showed any other worlds colliding.
I think I got so caught up in the Nick Cage thing, they started blocking out everything.
I think that was the big one.
Yeah.
And then that's when Barry's telling Barry. That's when Barry 1 tells Barry 2, "Look, we're destroying the fabric of everything."
Yes.
And then that's when Big Bad Blue Barry 2 is gonna stab Barry 1, and Barry 2 steps in the way and basically eradicates himself. So that, and then all the worlds heal.
And he realizes he's got to put the tomato can back.
He goes, "I can't save my mom."
I started laughing at the beginning. I was like, oh, he's going to save his mom by putting tomatoes in it. And I love that it's that simplistic.
But yeah, no, that's why it's beautiful, because it is such a... Freak accidents are that one little thing, right?
Which we're going to talk about here in a second.
So he goes back and sees his first version that put the extra can back in the cart, and he's standing there as a man. The mom seemed like he kind of interacts with her a little bit, and it seems like she sort of senses it, like kind
that
of
she's him. I thought so too. I felt the same way.
So.
I think she knows it's him,
because that little kid literally does look like him.
And I think she
understands there's something more.
I think she understands her fate in that moment too. Because why else she grab a stranger's face and hold his face
and hug him and say like a mother loves to hear. Like it was a sweet. I actually cried. Like that. I saw you lift your glasses up. I'll be honest with you. I go, fucking really? It's okay.
It doesn't take much
for me.
It's what you do.
I was digging in my pocket for my napkins because it was.
He did have tissues.
It was burning my eye.
He planned to cry. I don't know what that was.
But yeah, I was burning my one eye because I was like trying not to cry, and I'm like, the salt kept getting. I'm like, God damn it!
So he kills his mom.
So yeah, he kills
his mom.
He ends up using the Speed Force, takes the can back out, gives her like a hug. Does his little thing with like, I love you more, I loved you first, a little exchange. And it's sweet. And he walks away. But then he goes to put the can back, and then that's when he like sees the camera and he realizes something, which we don't know.
That went over my head.
Because he puts the can, then he looks up and sees the camera. Yeah. So now he gets back to our modern time, Earth 1, main timeline, and he's late for court. and he runs into court, and you see the court case, and you see the video that Bruce Wayne somehow decoded, which didn't look fucking weird to begin with, but now you see the dad actually.
What happens when you touch the tape with the fingers and they tell you not to?
Right. So the dad looks up on the top shelf and grabs the can. So he moved the cans from the bottom shelf to
My
the top
brain
shelf.
goes, oh, he's in the wrong universe again. That's what my brain did. Well, you know what made me think that way?
What?
Spider-Verse.
Right.
Made me think that way.
Yes, yes.
It trained me to think
Spoiler
that
alert.
way.
Yeah, spoiler alert for Spider-Verse again. But we won't break that part. But yeah, so the dad ends up being free.
Yes.
He's with Iris West, which again is a character nobody knows anything about if you don't watch the
extended version.
Which
Yes.
again I highly recommend.
Same actress?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Kiersey Clemens, I think her name is.
All right.
And he gets a call from Bruce Wayne. He's like, I'm pulling up right now. And he's like, goes, oh, so glad to hear your voice.
I knew
And
the voice sounded
It
different.
was not, yeah.
I thought it was Michael Keaton.
Yeah, I thought so too.
I thought it was Michael Keaton, yeah.
But again, this is your final chance for a spoiler-free ending. But it's George Clooney, which I thought was fucking great.
Hilarious.
So I
he
think
hasn't acted in a long time, has he?
Yeah, because he's doing like all money things.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
like producing.
He's got gin and wine and liquor. He's making billions off.
Yeah.
I think it's mostly
I think
liquor,
Nespresso,
tequila or something.
yeah, all kinds of shit.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I think. Oh no, he actually did that one with Julia Roberts, that Trapped in or Ticket to Paradise.
Oh, he did do that. Yeah, that's right. I watched some stand up about him. Somebody said he was getting a Lifetime Achievement Award, and they were talking about the woman he married, this lawyer that's like, she's like fighting these governments.
And she's a humanitarian.
She's a humanitarian.
He's got satellites. Like, he pays for satellites to spy on areas that are bad and shit like that. Like,
so
it's
she's
crazy.
like, she's actually does a lot to change the world.
Uh-huh.
And they said, this is your wife. They started listing off everything she does to make the world better. She goes, but here we are giving you the Lifetime Humanitarian Award. Come on up, George Clooney. It was hilarious. It was very funny.
But he's funding her Batman.
Yeah,
right?
I'm sure he is. Yeah, she
So,
gave him a cause. I'm sure.
But yeah, so it's George Clooney comes walking up.
He looked
and
good. He looked good, yeah.
And he's like, "Wait, you're Batman?" He's like, "What are you talking?" Like, and it was like a good little.
He looks around like, why would you fucking say that in the
Right.
street like you just did? Yeah.
And so then we saw everything online that there was no post credit, and I'm curious if there's different post credits. But the very end of all the credits.
So maybe I'm right. Maybe it is a different universe because it's not the right Batman.
Yeah, it is a different universe, right? It is.
Oh, so he went back
but he
to-
still changed the cans.
Yeah.
Is what he did. And then the very end scene, we see basically Aquaman and him are coming out of a bar, and he's explaining.
The credits
about,
went on for fucking 20 minutes.
I know. He's explaining. It was better than sitting in there though, because
Yeah.
we went we went out in the lobby. We were like, we'll keep an eye out. And then,
Well, I'll tell you why I went out in the lobby. Yeah,
I know. No, it's okay.
It's okay. I'll talk about it. I felt bad because he clearly dropped it, right? I overthought it. But there's a bunch of garbage on the ground next to me, and I was like, I don't want nobody to think I put the garbage on the ground because I didn't eat or do anything. So I'm going to get out. I'm going to go stand by the door so when other people get up and walk out, they don't see all that garbage on the ground. Because I didn't put that garbage on the ground. I was really like, I don't want anybody to think I put the garbage on the ground. So I went outside, I stood till I saw and then I looked over and the person that dropped all the stuff picked up all their stuff.
Yeah, did the right thing. Oh, I actually want to say the opening, I liked how they did the Flash name was about to start, and then the girls were fangirling over it.
Yes.
Oh my God, the Flash. So I kind of stopped the opening credit. I do like that. Again, very strong beginning.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they changed stuff after.
Poor guy,
what.
all he wanted to do was eat. The candy bar hit him in the fucking helmet. He just couldn't eat.
But so yeah, it's him and Aquaman
Yes.
drinking, and Aquaman's like, I can't get drunk, and he's like, well, yeah, and he goes, you can, but he's trying to explain all the different Batmans now, and he goes, am I the same in every universe? And he felt very Thorish
He did feel very
in that
gracious.
moment, and then I do like that he tripped and fell into a puddle.
Yeah.
And he's like, I thought you were going to come stay the night at my place. And
He goes, this is my
Aquaman's
place,
like, this is my place right
In the
here.
water.
And it was cute. And then that was basically the end. It was like a little tag joke, but
What'd you think of it?
I thought it started stronger than it finished.
I hate the animation.
But the little punch, the 1-2 punch at the end kind of got me.
Yeah.
I thought this was going to be like...
Oh, Wonder Woman's in this. We skipped her.
Oh, yeah. She's a cameo in the beginning. Well, yeah, all the Justice League kind of does their stuff at the
They
beginning.
put a rope. She saves Batman and Flash and pulls him up, and she asks him something about.
that he's like, I can't say thank you. I'm too proud to say thank you. And he's like trying to take
it's-
the lasso of truth off as he's saying all this stuff.
I realized a long time ago that I'm a billionaire and I can save humanity better by just giving money to people that don't have it. He's like, oh, this.
Yeah, and he's like trying to hurry
get it
to
off. Yeah. But he did say, people were like, he's a billionaire. Why don't you just give poor people money? But he said that out loud.
Calling it all out.
Yeah, which was really funny. He said, Flash says, I've never touched sex or never had sex with touching or whatever like that. He said, they heard me. Both the guys, they made them both.
He's like, I don't know how to say it. He goes, I don't know how to get out of that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was, it's an interesting anomaly because, again, this could mean nothing, right? This could mean nothing. There's still an Aquaman movie coming out, but it's kind of, is it?
Yeah.
We've seen the multiverse stuff Spider-Man.
This could be
both Spider-Mans did better than this one did.
This could be a good bookend.
It is kind of a good closure to it.
It is a good, because you have different Batman, different universes, different whatever. This is actually good. This is actually the 52 wrap-up.
Yeah.
Just like the comic books did.
It is sort of.
Right?
Yeah. They're not promising anybody else anything yet.
James Gunn's bringing in the 52.
Yeah. So at the start, I kept thinking, again, with the Shazam and talking about JSA, and even seeing the JSA slightly in Black Adam in the beginning of this movie, I kind of went, I think there was a place for this. They kind of abandoned it too quickly.
Yeah.
Because right now, as Marvel is, like we said, sort of dropping the ball to go,
right.
Here's our number one heroes all doing hero stuff. This is your Tony Stark. This is your Captain America.
Over the last 4 or 5 years, people are saying the best Marvel movies are all 3 Sony movies.
Yes.
Are all 3 Sony movies. The best thing.
The third?
Well, when did original Spider-Verse drop?
Well, Into the Spider-Verse was 5 years ago.
Oh, so that, and then
Cross.
And the Cross thing with all the Spider-Man in it, and then this.
Oh yeah. The live action. Duh.
But that's like people are like. People are out Marveling Marvel right now because Marvel's not doing Marvel right now. They're doing whatever the fuck it's doing.
They're taking a break.
Yeah, they are.
I think Kevin Feige's on vacation.
But this is a perfect time for DC.
Which they pulled off something nobody else has ever been able to pull off with the Infinity Saga. So I kind of give them, you could take a lap or two, right? Now we're in the lap.
Yeah.
Then you kind of can come back and pick and choose. With Battle World's going to let them pick and choose what worked and what didn't work. I think that's really what the end game is, so to speak. But yeah, this is when they should have been doubling down on, let's make more of these original, because that's your main people people know now. It's so dumb. It's so dumb.
But there's a lot of other shit too with The Rock just being a dick. He wanted to fight Superman, not Shazam.
Yeah, because he's so macho.
Not Shazam. And the more and more you find out about The Rock, we talked about this before. So that probably fucked up a lot of shit too. And James Gunn's like, I'm not going to deal with that shit. It's probably exactly what it is. I'm not going to deal with it. I want to do Superman. You know what? We're making a younger Superman. It's not going to be an older Superman. And people are like, we don't like those. Well, if you go with the younger Superman, he can run with this for 12, 15 years. It makes sense to do a younger Superman. Early casting that Superman's, it's somebody that people have been calling for that guy to be Superman for a long, long time. And then it's rumored what's his name's going to play Lex Luthor, Beast Boy. Beast Boy's going to play Lex Luthor.
Beast Boy.
Beast from
not Beast Boy. Beast Boy is on.
Sorry, no,
on
Beast
Teen
Boy.
Titans.
Sorry, yeah, Beast from X-Men.
Doom Patrol.
Beast from X-Men, young Beast.
Okay, Timothy Holt.
Yeah, Timothy Holt.
Oh no, Nicholas Holt.
Nicholas Holt. There's rumor he got the Lex Luthor job.
Okay.
So we'll see, but they want it younger so he can run with it for a while, which
because it
totally
could be
okay with.
It could be when he gets mad at Clark Kent for making him lose his hair because he flies over his house. Like I think it's something stupid, corny like that.
The TV show Smallville did it really well. It was. They were
Lionel Luthor was.
They were like Lionel Luthor was the thing, and Lex and Superman
or Clark
were like best friends.
Yeah, I liked Smallville.
And he turned on him because he was like,
"You lied to me.
You've been lying to me forever. Why do you were supposed to be best friends? I trusted you with everything, and you don't tell me the truth. Fuck you."
Right.
And that's dude. That's the best.
Sense.
That's the best Lex Luthor ever. Besides everybody getting powers from kryptonites for the first 5 seasons, and it was actually ended up being the better writing. Believe it or not.
Yeah. Once they introduced the stone, I stopped watching it when they introduced the stones. Yeah. And I was like, what the fuck? Like some kind of underground burial thing.
Well, the Flash TV
But I know
show.
after that, that's when for Smallville was when they started introducing you had Supergirl on
Arrowverse,
there.
whatever. Well, that picked up, but they didn't.
But
They ended up going with a different Aquaman. I'm going with a different Arrow because they did a pilot of that one Arrow guy. That guy that was on the show, and he didn't click well.
Right, and the same thing with Aquaman. No, they did Aquaman pilot,
and that didn't do well either. That's the guy that plays Reacher now. That's the guy in Fast X.
He played Hawk.
Yeah, he plays Hawk. And he played Hawk.
Doom Patrol.
And now he plays Reacher, and then he played in Fast and Furious. That guy looks like he ate that other fucking guy.
He's big, yeah.
He is fucking huge. So, but what'd you think about the movie?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly thought it was going to be incredible. And
the early stuff you heard?
Yes.
Yeah, it was the end-all be-all superhero movie.
Yeah, and I mean...
Nostalgia speaking, of course.
And I'm kind of like, you spoiled everything in the fucking previews that I would have loved about it.
Yeah.
Because I was kind of thinking I might want to go see this
Seriously,
again.
the only thing they don't show in a commercial that doesn't spoil the movie is Nick Cage. Everything else is spoiled.
Yeah.
Everything else.
And George Clooney.
But that's it. Those are the only two things. And those are bad last 10 minutes of movie.
Yeah.
You could have kept Michael Keaton back there. Let us guess. You could have showed him silhouettes. You didn't have to show us his face.
Yep.
But they were using Michael Keaton to
sell this.
To sell the movie more than they were, because they had to fall on somebody else because they couldn't fall on Ezra right now.
Uh-huh.
They had to, so they started using Michael Keaton to sell the movie.
Yep.
That's exactly what's going on. So, yeah.
And it's kind of like a last-ditch effort for them, so...
All right.
But what do you think ultimately?
It was all right. It was like, I went in my brain thinking I'm going to see one of the best superhero movies ever. And I saw above average, okay superhero movies, really bad
I still
CGI.
think I might have liked Shazam more than this still. Shazam 2. So when you see that one...
I saw Shazam.
Oh, you did
already
see it?
saw it. Yeah, already saw it. Yeah. We're just waiting for Jay to see it. Yeah.
But I mean, I think I like that more than I like that one had more creative, interesting things in it, even though it didn't look like it from the previews. And then it's hard to watch this right after Spider-Verse.
Yes, it's very hard to watch this out of Spider-Verse because like 70% of the shit's the same.
And Spider-Verse is just so
and
much
the way
smarter.
The way Spider-Verse went about the different dimensions and the right. It's almost the same fucking movie.
It's bizarre. Yeah.
It's bizarrely, strongly the same movie. Spider-Verse. You coming out at the Spider? People are now going to compare the Spider-Verse. Compare it. So it was a great. I love seeing Michael Keaton back on stage again.
It was good for that.
Kara was a great Superman.
Oh my god, I want her.
Superwoman.
I want her to show up in something else.
She looked fucking great. And I was like, oh, dark features, dark hair, Kryptonian. This makes sense because that makes sense to me. Yes, I like it. It was great. Yes.
Yeah, so there's a lot of pluses to it. It'll be one that'll be fun. I always like when you go back and watch a movie after the previews and the movie's kind of worn away from your head, and then you can watch it again with a different appreciation. But like this was just too I mean, I understand they have to advertise the shit out of it to get you go. But we always said that too for Ragnarok. How cool would that have been to see Ragnarok and not know Hulk was in it?
Right.
But they had to put Hulk in the preview to get you to go see it.
Right.
So it's a similar thing here. But yeah, I liked it. I mean, I would recommend it. I mean, it is.
Thomas Wayne would have been a nice twist.
It would have been. That would have been a nice. That would have been kind of the cherry to twist.
Or like a newspaper, the way he's no longer Batman or doing Batman. A newspaper laying on the ground, and you see Joker wife, Martha Wayne, Joker, blah blah blah, like on a piece of paper on the ground.
I think that would have been so much smarter.
That'd been fucking sick.
Because then he's even looking at like the picture. I thought, and I kind of looked at it like, oh, they're gonna do it because there's a picture of the family, and he touches it, and I'm thinking, oh, he's touching the kid.
I thought he did touch the kid.
Yeah.
I thought that's the story. I thought he was letting him call him Bruce, and they were just going to show you later he was Thomas Wayne, but they never did that.
I know that would. And
he said my parents died. I'm like, fuck. There goes my chances. There goes him being Thomas Wayne.
I would have been so much better. I think that.
Why change that?
That would have notched it.
Why change that?
Yeah.
It made no sense changing it.
No, and it would have made a lot more things make sense.
You're still fucking Batman, Michael Keaton.
Right.
Yeah. So.
And it would explain, why he's older. That would have just been the one.
Why he wasn't Batman anymore, where everything was closed down because he had to go after his wife because she was the Joker. Like, think about that.
How cool that would.
Yeah, another 20 minutes in the movie. That'd been really sweet. Just a quick. You don't even explain it. But the
and
newspaper
Barry
on the
didn't
ground.
even need to see
newspaper
it.
on the ground. Martha Wayne sentenced to life in Arkham as the and you can see her like with the Joker face or something. You don't have to do more than that.
Yep.
But yeah,
that would actually have been probably what it needed.
It's exactly probably what it needed. Yeah.
Because they did dark shit. Yeah. They killed baby Superman. Why not?
They killed baby Superman. Dude, 9 babies out a window.
So we'll see if Jay ends up seeing this. We'll maybe do like a little... We won't tell him we saw it already.
We won't,
because he's not going to listen to this podcast either. So we'll let him kind of say his stuff on it.
He's got 2 weeks.
If he does see it, yeah. But.
We got a 2-week jump on him, so he's got all the time in the world.
Yep, exactly. So, all right. Back to work.
Back to work.
Thanks for completing this course. For more lessons, follow the Film School Janitors on Instagram and Facebook under Film School Janitors and on Twitter under FS Janitors. Please rate and review this podcast wherever you may have found it, and feel free to email us at filmschooljanitors@gmail.com. Now get back to your studies.